Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Bryan.
Too about obviously the Bryan Danielson Hangman Page match,
Right, we
and
can get into that now.
Went a full Broadway, huh?
It did.
Did no
It
one,
did.
no one would
Who
ever
would
thought,
ever
it was
thought
gonna
that?
go
No one saw that coming.
60
Does
minutes.
that mean time limit draw?
I'm getting a free hat out of this.
one thing I would say about it is that, like, it was certainly a great match. I would have chosen a different ending. And also a question that comes out of it is, does this make the person who ends up beating Hangman to be Bryan Danielson? Because the next couple people that fight Hangman Page, if they don't have a match like this, that kind of, does it make them look bad?
I don't think so, just because they've kind of built up Danielson as he's like on a different level. He's like top tier. Like, they've mentioned his conditioning. They meant, and I don't think it hurts him, even though he's done two time limit draws, 1.5 hour, 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's just so over no matter what. It's the time limit draw doesn't hurt him.
No, definitely not.
I mean, I don't know where they go from here. Hopefully you get Hangman somebody else for a bit, let him get a couple wins.
Doesn't sound like that.
No, then they already announced that
Tony Khan was on Busted Open today, and he said that he's still the number one contender. So he's getting another shot. I don't know when, but he's still number one.
Hopefully it's a little bit of time in between. Like, Rick, I see what you're saying. Hopefully it's a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Needs to be.
Because they've just built this up for so long just to have him lose it to Danielson. I mean, it could, possibly, I guess, make a storyline out of it where Hangman. But then again, I don't want him to, like, I guess, snap or relapse or whatever you want to call it, and that you do the whole thing over again. I don't think that's a good way to go. But I just don't see how, if if he loses to Danielson or anyone, like, then like, I feel like he, to at least have the storyline pay off that you've done for the last 2 years, you got to have him have at least a good 4, 5, 6 month run.
I don't think they'll change it just now. The way they've dealt with the AEW title so far, everyone's had a decent run with it. I don't see him losing, in his third match or second match. It's going to go on for a little while.
So then do they have Page beat him then? Because you can't keep having these, time limit draws and all this other stuff. Like, someone's got to win clean, and you can't have Page go, like you were saying, you can't have Page go through this entire year-long program to finally get the belt, only
2
to
years.
have and then have the guy that is his first challenger beat him
right,
and take the title away.
Sense.
It's like, what were we doing for the last 2 years? Also, what does it say about Kenny Omega? You had a strong champion in Kenny Omega. Took 2 years for Hangman Page to overcome him, and Danielson just comes in and is like, all right, I'll take it now.
Right. I don't know where they're going.
I mean, they could.
I don't see what their second match is going to be.
They could go the Ring of Honor route with the Punk and Joe, and that you do the trilogy, and you do maybe you do another time limit draw.
What do you do? Or do you do another hour, or do you go 90 minutes?
I think you do another hour, and then when you book the third one, you book it for
No time limit.
you do no time limit, and you don't necessarily even have to go the hour or whatever. I mean,
they shouldn't go the hour.
Like they did that with, like I said, with Punk and Joe, the third match. Like, it was a no time limit. There must be a winner. Blah blah blah, and then they went like 35 minutes. Like I definitely see, like, maybe just they do something where there's the second one's another hour, draw, and then maybe Page figures out something, like a Danielson's weakness or there's something there that makes it where they don't necessarily need to go over an hour. Like, honestly, I got worried with when Hangman got some color, because I almost felt like, okay, are they gonna, like factor that into the finish? Like, oh, well, they would have won an hour, but he was losing blood. That was it. Got weak. Couldn't finish. Danielson beat him.
Well, they should have used that, like when they should have had him, I thought, tap after the bell rang for the time limit. So then,
like a Brett thing.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, because then that still kind of makes Hangman look weak. I feel like.
Well, they did it the opposite way. They made
right.
Hangman look strong, because if he could get over there and cover him after
that would have been it.
It would have been over in another, say, 5 seconds.
So that was my only gripe about the match, was so it's like a double-edged sword, like the time cues. I don't know if I heard Excalibur, like, at the only time I heard him was like, oh, there's a minute left.
Taz was saying it throughout.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're over the 44-minute mark now. We're over the 38-minute mark now. Usually when they came back from a commercial break, or but right before they're going into a commercial break, Taz was giving them all.
So did they have?
They didn't say it over the on the loud mic to the audience. They weren't until there was 5 minutes left. They didn't tell anybody.
All right, so they did. Okay, because like that was. I feel like it felt it.
I think they didn't want to get the crowd out of it until that point and go, oh, okay, now we know where we're going. Like the crowd wise. Right,
because the thing that it's, as much as the match was great, I feel like as soon as that bell rang, and everyone realized that the match was over and it was a draw, like I thought they lost the crowd for a bit.
They did.
I mean, it
was bound to happen. Yeah,
they were very angry.
Yep.
But I think that's what it was. And I guess at the same time, it's the first match on the card. If you start doing time cues,
yeah,
like it's it's a dead giveaway, because you never do time cues before.
If you always have done them, there wouldn't have been an issue with it.
Right. So that's like like New Japan. Japan,
they're
no
always,
matter what,
right,
always has it every 5 minutes.
Yeah, even an opener.
Yeah, everything. Even two young boys that is not going anywhere close to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
No, you get a 5 minute, 10 minute, every 5 minutes you get you get a time cue.
So I kind of get why people were upset about it, because you're talking 2 championship matches in a month and a half, 2 month period that go a time limit draw, and you're expecting some sort of result. The problem is now people are just going to expect that, oh, we have a world title match in Dynamite, it's just going to be a time limit draw again. And I think people get upset. My buddy was texting me all night. He was irrationally upset about this, like irrationally upset. The string of text messages that I got. And I kind of get where he was coming from with this, because, he wanted some sort of payoff. And I'm like, look, there's a buildup. One thing AEW does is they play the long game. They do the buildup. They don't do the quick results, the quick satisfaction or anything like that. They want to make it so you're invested.
Right.
This is going somewhere. This is leading to something. But I completely get the animosity towards it, because you almost feel like, oh, they got me again. This is the second time it's happened. So I mean, I get it. I 100% get it. Luckily, the crowd got built up after that. Took them a little bit. That Wardlow match didn't help anybody.
No.
Because as much as AEW does things right, I could see people think, not to this scale, but like people thinking, the end of the exploding ring match was a disappointment. Like this was a disappointment.
I can't see why it is. I mean, I get why people think it is, but I don't see why it is.
I don't. Look at like the 70s and the 80s where it was like Ric Flair would just literally every night have to wrestle an hour draw, and everyone thought it was fantastic. I think
he even tweeted that out. He went a whole month where every night he worked was a 60-minute time limit match.
It would have to be, because if not, he'd be going around the country with like 27 titles around his waist.
Exactly. That's true. I just think a lot of people are in tune to WWE booking still. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing that I kind of feel like it's, which I thought was weird, was, I mean, we always say that the AEW fans are all the smart fans. Like, they should have expected, I feel like they should have almost like expected this to happen, or, especially like I said, if you're a smart fan, and Bryan, you mentioned it in the chat. It's like, oh, this, the match, the way they're pacing it is definitely, it looks like it's about to go an hour. Just like,
you could tell right from the beginning.
If they went full bore, you would know, oh, this is going 25, 30 minutes, but they were pacing it out. You knew once they hit the second commercial break, I said, oh, this is going right to the limit, like we thought.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think sometimes I feel like it's, the match was fantastic. There wasn't anything like, nothing really sloppy. It was
there was one screw up. Right. That was it. It was right at the end when Danielson was going over the top rope. He didn't quite make it all the way over there to skin the cat back in. That was it, though. That one little spot. But when you're 56 minutes into the match, something like that's bound to happen, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's. I feel like the smart audience should be not trained, but like, for instance, I'll give a good example. There was a Ring of Honor show that I went to in Braintree one time. It was, the main event was the Briscoes versus I think Austin Aries and Roderick Strong, 2 out of 3 falls. Briscoes win the first fall, and then all of a sudden Briscoes win the second fall.
Yep.
And everyone in the building was like, what the hell just happened? Why didn't Aries and Strong win the second fall?
Right.
And it was flat because everybody's just so conditioned to, 2 out of 3 fall match. It
always goes 3 falls.
Always goes
conditioned
3
to it. Right. Exactly.
So like it hurt the finish when, I mean, then they turned it into an angle at that point where it was like, well, the Briscoes are just, mowing down everybody in 2 out of 3 falls matches, 2 fall, like nobody can touch the Briscoes, blah, 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 all this stuff. So it's just, like they turned it around, but the first match, which it happened to be the one in Braintree, it fizzled out. It wasn't a good finish.
Well, the other thing I saw earlier was TNT put out a press release about stuff coming up in 2022, and they mentioned Battle of the Belts being a 1-hour special in their press release, which from everything that everyone had been saying, they were expecting it to be like a 3-hour show. So I don't know if that was a mistake on their end or if something changed. I don't know. It was a press release and it said it on it.
Little.
I don't know if you got anything about that, Russ.
Yeah, I haven't seen that till you said it.
Okay.
But it seems like something called Battle of the Belts should be more than an hour.
I have a feeling it was a mistake, but we'll find out. Why would you go live for an hour on a night you don't run? If they want these specials to be like the old WCW Clash of the Champions specials, they were never an hour long.
I say those.
Maybe they're putting everybody who has a title into the ring at the same time. See who comes out. There's your battle of the belts.
It's 5
Or
rings, 5 matches.
Maybe
My
there's
money's
a
on Britt
bat.
Baker.
Maybe there's a Battle of the Belts special for Battle of the Belts. Like
Maybe like a 1 hour lead up to it.
That could be. I could see that because they do that before their pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I'm hoping that's what it is.
I mean,
it's still the TV listings don't go that far out yet, so
right.
You can't refer to them yet.
I can and I will.
So speaking of AEW press releases, like you said in the chat earlier, that they're doing pretty much two Owen Hart Cups at this point.
2, yep.
Yes.
So male and a female.
Is the female one going to have a trophy that looks like a set of ovaries?
It's possible.
Much like the Andre the Giant Memorial Female Battle Royal.
That trophy was terrible.
It's the worst thing ever. It's not even good. And the fact that it's a red ribbon hanging down from it just doesn't help.
No, not at all.
Could have used any other color. It's almost like they wanted to make it look like a whole set of fallopian tubes and all that. I just wanted to use the word fallopian tubes on a podcast. You guys have set me up for it. So thank you all. My Christmas wish has come true.
A Christmas miracle has been made.
I guess they ran out of time on Wednesday. They were going to announce the cup stuff at the end, but they didn't have enough time for it.
Oh, really?
Thank you. I noticed that they kept teasing Tony Khan's big announcement and they never actually got to it. And then the show ended. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of fell asleep a little bit on the couch because apparently I can't hang anymore. And next thing I know, it's like they got the NHL hockey thing going. I'm like, what was Tony Khan's announcement? But I was too embarrassed to message you guys and be like, I fell asleep. I'm telling you now in a live podcast, so whatever.
Even better.
Apparently the embarrassment wore off in 2 days.
Because I thought about that. I was like, wait, they just all show they were like, hey, and then it never happened.
He said they ran out of time and they just did it at Rampage instead.
Oh, so I kind of tuned out towards the end of the show, and then when CM Punk and everybody was in the ring, I thought the announcement was, oh, next week they're all tagging up against each other.
That's what they made the announcement is saying that they're having that 6-man match, but that wasn't the original announcement they were going to do. But they made it seem that was what the big announcement was, which it wasn't.
Which makes no sense, yeah.
But they had to come up with something, so they just went with that. Well, see, it's strange, but that's how it goes sometimes.
All right.
I mean, you go the 1 hour Broadway and then everything else has to fit into that hour. You're kind of rushing stuff at that point a little bit.
I mean, I know there's really nothing you can do about it, but I feel like when they do matches like an hour draw or the blood and guts, like matches that take an incredibly long time. Like I feel like commercials hurt it or I feel like if there's, Tony Khan's always saying like, I could buy this hour if I wanted to, like, I feel like he definitely should have maybe spent the money and because it's, I don't know if at one point it was like every, whatever it is, every 8 minutes or so, like, Excalibur was like, we gotta take a commercial. And there was a few times where like you could hear Taz almost like snicker, like Jesus Christ, another like commercial.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and same thing with the blood and guts when at some point you would watch the picture in picture and they're literally just standing around waiting for the commercial to come back so they can do whatever crazy high spot they got planned next.
Right.
It definitely hurts the product, I think. And I mean, there's nothing, I applaud Tony Khan for booking an hour, draw on a TV show. Cause you definitely wouldn't see the WWE do that.
No,
you know what I mean? Like they can,
even though they have a 3-hour Raw, they don't.
Right.
Hey, I got a question. Not to interrupt. You're 100% right too, because I thought there was way too many commercials. What happened to the picture-in-picture? At one point,
it didn't happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
well, it went off in the middle of the commercial break. It was after Paige got color.
They
had
do
it
that
for, like,
sometimes.
That's local.
They-
Local covers up because the local stations still get their local spots, so they cover it up. Nationally, they're still in picture. So when they do that, you're getting like Boston, Hartford, wherever you're watching, you're getting the local stuff out of this market.
I get you.
That's what those ones are. So when they say we're picture in picture, then halfway through it disappears.
Because NXT does that as well.
Mhm.
Like when they like, I don't.
Yeah,
They still do the picture in picture on Tuesdays, but
just knowing the TV market since I worked in it for so many years, I know
Right.
what happens.
so yeah. So
Okay.
that was
Mhm.
that,
That's
you
what
know,
happens. It's not TNT. It's locally Comcast, Verizon, Charter, whatever company you're going through.
So what
Takes-
was weird
takes that.
about it was, at the time, it looked like Paige might have actually messed himself up.
Mhm.
This was right after he bladed. It looks like he may have actually messed himself up. My buddy actually texted me and goes, "Wow, Hangman looks like something might have actually happened to him." And then the picture in picture died. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well. But then they came back and I'm like, no, he looks fine.
Mhm.
So, by the way, that was a great Christmas cookie I just ate. Just want you all at home to know
Look good.
that was a fine cookie.
Sugar cookie? What kind? What
Sugar cookie with a white chocolate frosting
Mm.
and sprinkles. Oh, it was amazing.
there you
Nice.
go.
Nice.
I may go
Nice.
grab another one.
That's all you need. You do the Owen Hart Cup. I mean, you could do it two ways where you could have it, either you're the, kind of like King of the Ring. You have that title. You're the Owen Hart Cup winner for the whole year,
Yeah.
and that's it. Or you could do it like almost like Chikara style with the Young Lions Cup, where it's you
Sure.
win the cup in the tournament,
Mhm.
but then you also defend that cup all year long until the next one.
Or you have it like the G1 and the person that wins
The
gets a title
briefcase,
shot
right.
at some certain show. I mean, there's many ways they can go
Right.
about it.
But I'm very excited for especially if it's going to be a one night tournament.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't know how.
Yeah, who should win it?
I don't know who's
Um,
going to be in it. It's hard to say.
Right.
Are they going to go with like the smaller guys? It's more
Because
like
that would be
Owen
kind of
Hart
cool too,
style
like
guys,
like
you
a
know?
work rate, like
Mhm.
just junior kind of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, it would be kind of cool, and if they stuck like a Kenny Omega or a John Moxley or some,
Sure,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, like just
Mhm.
someone like that, like Jericho.
Yeah.
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 He doesn't even have to win it, but
right. Yeah, I think they should almost defend it. That would be kind of cool. Different thing for them is just kind of, you defend it around for the
Right.
year.
And it's not a belt, but
Mhm.
you got a decent sized trophy or whatever, and
Yeah, I guess
You
the
know-
trophies are nice looking from what I don't know if they're going to show them or not yet, but from what's been in the thing is Martha Hart's had a lot to do with what they look like and everything.
and that's awesome. I really
Yeah.
really dig the fact that they're giving him, I guess a platform,
Mhm.
or her a platform to.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
she's
get
going to
it.
she's going to give the cups out to the winner. The foundation's all behind it. I think a lot of proceeds are going to go to it. I don't know if it's a one night tournament, all the money goes to it. That would be cool if they did that.
right.
I wonder if they'll have anybody like Harry Smith come in and be a part of it.
Someone put a poll out there saying that he might come in for it. He might not be signed, but he might be in it. Might
Right.
be
And
a
that's cool
stipulation
too,
they want him in it. Mhm.
And same thing. He doesn't have to win it,
Yep.
but you can have him go past the first round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just yeah, that'd be cool too. Just a little bit of like a Hart lineage or whatever. I mean, I know it's not his it's his uncle, but
Right. It's related though.
right.
I mean, you can't get Natty to come in or Natalia, because obviously she's somewhere else. But
You definitely don't want Teddy Hart anywhere
no,
near that
no. You don't want
bucket.
anything to do with Teddy, exactly. Even though he's got the name.
Could Brett show up?
Brett could
Sure.
definitely show up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Remember he was the one that
He gave out the AEW title at the first one, right? The
pay-per-view,
championship match. Yeah.
he unveiled it and
Mhm.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't have Brett involved if he could.
I definitely think. I mean, I almost feel like you have to if you're gonna have a some kind of a tournament named after his brother.
Right, for sure. I'm sure.
You know, especially same thing. Like Brett's been extremely vocal about, you know, like, you know, getting his brother's legacy, you know, like out there and you know what I mean? Like, I know he was, you know, kind of like, oh, Martha, you know, I wish Martha wasn't so.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say the word bitter because it's,
Right.
I mean, she has every right to be, but it's, you know, it's
in that situation, I can understand it.
right.
I mean, everyone's different.
Right. So it's like, I mean, I get Brett wants his brother to be recognized because he was incredible.
Well, he's getting that chance now.
So yeah, so that's you know, and hopefully, you know, Brett will be there to.
I would think he's going to be involved somehow.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah. This doesn't seem like somebody that wouldn't want to not be involved.
Right.
Who cares if it's not the WWE that's doing it? You know.
Right.
I could see him definitely be involved. Even if it's not the final night where, you know, Martha's giving up the cups, he could show up the night that they reveal him, you know.
Yeah, he could be in that front row.
Right. Or he could be the one, you know, I guess maybe, you know, he's the one that, you know.
He could in quotes be a judge or something too.
Right.
If they, you know, they do a time limit draw or something on one of the matchups, he could decide who goes on who or whatever.
Right. He just oversees the tournament. He's the commissioner of the
tournament.
tournament.
Let him be the commissioner. Yeah, he could put the matchups together, reveal who in the tournament. There's a ton you could do with them. You'd be stupid not to.
Right.
You just promote him and boom, people want to see what he's up to.
So that's what they're announcing tonight is just the
they're announcing that. Well, he said it tonight, but I guess they're going to say when and where.
Okay.
you